Uncover the truth. Let the lies come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth. Let the shadows break free from the chains that bind us down. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight. In the rain-soaked streets, under the moon's pale light, a crime unfolds with a twisted, sinister might. A knife in the dark, a scream that rings clear. Betrayal's cold hand in the heart of the deer. Through the fog and the mist, the truth we must see. In the shadows we find the answers we need. Uncover the truth, let the light come undone. Peel back the layers until the light is shown. Uncover the truth, let the shadows out. Break free from the chains and find the sun. Uncover the truth in the dead of the night, where secrets lie hidden like a whispered bite. Uncover the truth in the dim of the light, where betrayals take root in the heart of the fight.
Go ahead, investigate.
She's got such a powerful voice. I was listening to that song as I was waiting for you. I just love it. It's so powerful and meaningful.
She's
I'm
a legend.
Steve Cully. She is. I can't wait to see her in concert. I'm
Waiting
Steve
for a
Cully.
long time.
Best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully, and Coach Schumann. He's ready to go. This is Bloodlines and Betrayal, and we are going over the investigation of the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie, and it has puzzled everyone thus far, and we are trying to get deep into the bottom of it. Nancy Guthrie she's an 84-year-old mother of NBC Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie.
Crazy.
She lived alone in the Catalina foothills of Arizona and was described by her family as mentally sharp. She's there, but physically limited, and she requires daily medication. She was reported missing February 1st, 2026, after failing to show up for a scheduled church service. So ever since COVID happened, what they would do is her friends, they would gather at one of their houses and they would watch a church service from New York. And for the first time, basically ever, Nancy didn't show. Now, her last known visibility by anyone in her family was January 31st. She was dropped off at her home by her family. So this is what is perplexing. In the early morning hours, her Ring camera was disconnected. And later, footage showed an armed individual wearing a mask and a backpack, tampering with surveillance equipment. So it wasn't until midday, February 1st, the family discovered she was missing. They called 911. And the disturbing part, again, is the pacemaker. She has a pacemaker. The pacemaker data showed it disconnected from her phone overnight, which raised very, very, distraught and tremendous concerns about her health. So it just kind of was messy from the start between the local investigation and then getting the feds involved. The FBI recovered previously inaccessible the doorbell footage that the guy cut, but the FBI was involved late. as we know, there's often standoffs between local law enforcement and getting the feds involved. The man was a masked individual. There was a firearm visible in his waist, and he attempts to block and then disables the cameras. So the suspect's identity remains completely unknown, although the FBI did release a height, a build, and backpack details. They had an reward of 50 grand. They increased it to 100 grand. So, Dave, in my opinion, my question to you, like, this to me seems like people who may have done this before, a coordinated effort, a planned effort. It doesn't seem like anything random. She was targeted, and it's a group that obviously knows what they're doing. Do you feel the same?
So there's a couple things that confused me about it.
Yeah.
So what would be the rationale for kidnapping her? I don't understand.
That was, I was the same way.
Ransom. I thought maybe it was like something inside, on the inside. I wasn't sure. I don't know. It's dragged on so long. I'm concerned that she's dead, unfortunately, and they don't know. They don't know what to do in that situation because they can't get the ransom if she's dead, and so on and so forth. You know.
Well, you're absolutely right. The strangeness that you brought up is 100% accurate, because multiple ransom notes were sent to media outlets, local media outlets, local news, and even TMZ. And they demanded payment in cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. They have had no direct communication with the family. And the other thing that was concerning, just from my point of view, is there have been several ransom deadlines, and they've come and gone. They've missed. And that's what troubles me. Now, I understand you want to get proof of life. You need all that. But, I mean, if it was my mother, I'd probably let her stay. But no, I mean, if it was my mother, I would, you're going to pay. You know, I would not fuck with these. I would not. I wouldn't mess with these people. You know, they clearly are experts. These aren't, novices. They know what they're doing. They're coming in. They're cutting ring cameras, surveillance. They were undetected, basically, by everyone. So, if they gave me a ransom deadline, I'm paying it. Yeah. I mean, don't you agree? Like, missing the ransom deadlines, in my opinion, was a critical, catastrophic error on either the family's part or law enforcement's part. Do you agree, or do you think proof of life was needed and, they didn't have
I think proof of life should be needed, in order to get ransom.
Yeah, that's why law enforcement held off. And, they're sending letters to TMZ, which is ridiculous. And, people also think there's copycats, red herrings, and there's people taking advantage of the situation to get money, to get cryptocurrency. She may have been kidnapped, and there may have not been a ransom demand. And these idiots are the ones contacting the news organizations demanding the money. So experts have questioned whether the ransom notes are authentic or a red herring or a distraction. And just like you said, it's the 13th of February.
Right.
So someone who has a pacemaker, someone who struggles to get along, move around, they're not the ideal target for a kidnapping.
No.
Because of the work that's going to go in to maintain their health. That just blew my mind. So the alternative theories are a crime that escalated unexpectedly, a burglary that went wrong. There was no, signs of a break-in. So, it could have been someone she knew, someone familiar with the home.
Right.
Law enforcement has not ruled out any scenario and, continues to treat this as an abduction.
Right.
Where it's getting to the point where there's grave concern for this. Like, I don't know how you would go about handling it. I know they were searching nearby in the brushes and they found gloves, they found some different clues. But again, your question, why would kidnappers target her and then involve the media instead of negotiating privately? That to me would give you the answer to why this all happened.
Right. I mean, it's so confusing. The whole the whole process of everything is crazy to me. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just don't know why they have gone through it all not to show her like her available and
Yeah. They usually, you'll get a still picture with
right,
the victim holding a newspaper showing the date
right,
to show proof of life. Just anything to show
right.
proof of life.
I
And the ransom, the other thing that I found strange was the ransom increased from 4 million to 6 million. So that to me again signals people fucking with them, like outsiders getting involved, trying to get a payout out of this.
right.
And it's distracting law enforcement from doing their job.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what bothers me. And then the pacemaker, they were able to disable the pacemaker giving data to her phone. And what does that mean? What doesn't it mean? That to me is the scariest issue is the pacemaker, because
Right.
you don't know the status. And how often does recovered residual data, if it takes a while to get, change the direction of the case? Because they could have their best people on it and they may not get all the data from the pacemaker for a week. Who knows? And the significance of the suspect, they were clearly focused on disabling cameras, because I
Right.
guess they have numerous cameras and they really, that was number one. We got to get, shut off the cameras. And then number two, how do you get an 84-year-old lady out of her house undetected who struggles to move? Whether it was in the middle of the night or during the day, I just can't picture that happening without anyone noticing.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but what I do think what is crazy is that the whole scenario that we haven't seen her,
Yep.
we don't know where she is, we don't know anything about we they thought they had a suspect and then they didn't. You know what I mean? They um it's a little mind blowing that they have not come
Made
close.
progress.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, because Frank brought this up.
Yeah.
Do you think the national media attention has helped or hindered this investigation?
Well, didn't the supposed rants people, aren't they the ones that who brought it to the media?
Yes, the ransom notes went to local media outlets in Arizona,
So they
correct.
wanted the attention.
And TMZ, yes, they did. They did. But, Fox has been covering this around the clock. Other news agencies have been covering this around the clock.
Right.
So my thing is, the media needs to have some balance with urgency and then avoiding misinformation. Because don't you think that they're providing some misinformation or could be reporting some misinformation? Because you've heard every freaking expert in the world come on and give their opinion.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody knows anything, and that's the crazy part. Like, at first they thought, oh, she was signaling to somebody, like when she was, all that was nonsense. I don't know where some of that came from. You know what I mean? But it was like, it was crazy that they thought that for a long time, there was some sort of like they knew who the person was, and now the longer it goes away, the more I feel like she's not alive, and
that changes things dramatically.
right, like
if it gets to that, if it's now a recovery and it's not an abduction.
I mean, I don't know how you figure that out at this point. Like they don't even know; they have no clue, right, of where she is.
No, that's the thing. But she's 84 years old. Okay, it's not like you can put her in a car and drive her 8 hours away.
She's very elusive. It's hard. It's horrible.
She has to be close, right?
It must be very close. Well, that was what made me think originally that it was some sort of like
inside
gig, but I don't know. Like, I feel like if it was an inside gig, like how could they drag this out? How would they be able to?
For such a long time.
Well, it was also, that's what made me think too that maybe she's not alive. Like, if you don't know what to do, and the only way you could get your money is to, then you're in this situation where you're trying to figure out what to do. Have they had contact with them? Or just information is being released?
There hasn't been back and forth communication. TMZ got a letter saying a ransom note saying deposit 1 Bitcoin in our account and you're not taking us seriously. That was the biggest thing. And
they never did any of it, right?
No, they never did. They let 2 deadlines.
Proof of life, right? Because they asked for proof of life.
I believe so, because listen, I mean, I watch enough Law and Order, but traditionally the playbook is you want proof of life before you make any ransom payments. And the timeline kind of gets screwy because she was dropped off in the evening, January 31st. And then overnight was when the cameras were disrupted and shut off. And it wasn't until the morning that she didn't show up for the church thing and was discovered missing. And that's when they filed the missing person report. And, Frank also brought up another good point. There's thousands upon thousands of missing people in this country. and they don't get the resources and the manpower and the investigative tools that every agency has put towards Nancy Guthrie. Now, do you think that's wrong, or do you think it's just? I mean, I think it's somewhat justified because of the sense of urgency. You know, she's not younger.
Profile, which makes it very, it makes it difficult in a sense because it's high profile,
very,
and it'll probably be demand. There's high demand.
Yes.
For something to be taken, you know, from the public, something to happen. But I don't know. Like, I feel like this is a case where they're saying they want you to blindly like put the money in.
Yeah, and just trust that you're going to. We'll give her back.
These Nigerian schemes.
It is like the emails we used to get. Say,
yes, yeah.
I'm trapped over here. I need that.
Yes, Mr. Michael Schumann, even though my name is David. Mr. Michael Schumann, you are the recipient of
I need your help.
I need your help. And you were the heir to our tribe in Africa.
Yes.
Right. Schumann, really?
You pay $1,000 and you're going to get 10 million in return. That's all you have to do.
Yes.
But it's just like in authorities, they will not and have not confirmed whether this was a targeted kidnapping, a burglary that escalated, or something else entirely. And that lies the problem. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this had to have, like, what are you going to burglarize an 84-year-old woman? Like, what are you looking for?
Right.
Like, what a value does she have? It had to have been a targeted kidnapping, and it had to have been done by sophisticated individuals who clearly this isn't their first rodeo. But I think that, like, if you do this and you expect to get paid, housing an 84-year-old woman, it's not easy. I mean, that in itself is horrible. Like, I mean, like I said, like, I just can't picture them throwing her in the car and just driving her for 8 hours. I mean, she's going to have to go to the bathroom. I mean, like, what do you do? I mean, she's got medical needs. I mean, it's not going to be easy to take care of someone like that.
No.
So that's why I fear the worst the longer this goes on. And I really think law enforcement bungled this investigation because of the timing it took to involve the FBI. I mean, they didn't get them involved right away. Had they have done that, they would have been able to get the missing camera surveillance, I believe, a lot earlier.
Right.
And, you know, they had a description of the masked individual with the backpack with a firearm visible. And that's what, and just the ransom notes. I mean, you're talking 6 to 8 ransom notes to the local media outlets and not directly to the family. That doesn't make sense to me. That makes no sense. So you're going to send it to Howard at TMZ. So what's he, your negotiator? You know,
right.
Howard says, yeah, just give us 4 million in Bitcoin and we'll get her back. There's been no direction of, okay, you know, pay this and go here and she'll be here.
Right.
So that's why law enforcement sources have expressed extreme skepticism due to missed deadlines and lack of direct negotiation. So, and even to the point where I heard a couple experts say that the ransom authenticity can't be confirmed. They have no confirmation of that because they haven't talked directly to the kidnappers. There hasn't been any communication. So what I don't know what you do. You know, right. They say that the ransom notes to the media, you know, I know the Zodiac did it, but I mean, it can cause, Son of Sam did it, can cause a lot of distractions, copycat behaviors. And they're, you know, I think you're right. They're really trying to exploit global attention. And that's what's scary.
I think that's without almost certain that's the case. I don't see how if they like what would break the case at this point, in your opinion?
They're saying, what are the chances Nancy is currently in Mexico? I don't think there's any chance she's in Mexico. I think she's local. The break in the case, in my opinion,
yeah,
I know that Savannah Guthrie and members of the family have made pleas to the people who took her. I think the break would be any kind of direct communication, because right now everyone is just completely in the dark. And the media is focused on the ransom delivery not taking place, letting the deadlines pass. You know, and to an extent, yeah, I get it, because you don't know. You don't know. There's been no proof of life. There's been no direct communication. So, yeah, I think that if the FBI is able to pull up some of the pacemaker data, maybe that can be tracked, because the pacemaker was going to her phone. Maybe they'll be able to track where she is based on her pacemaker. It's like a dog with a microchip. You know, you can find your dog if he's microchipped by just going to a shelter.
Yeah, right. Well, what would they GPS it, or how would they do that?
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's. I can't say for sure, but I believe that the pacemaker gives you that information, gives you location. You know, and because it would come to her phone. But, you know, again, the biggest question is, why would someone involve the media instead of negotiating privately? And what makes this case different from a traditional ransom kidnapping? And I just believe that the biggest difference is the communication. When there's a ransom kidnapping, there's communication. They want something in return. They're not just taking an 84-year-old woman for shits and giggles. Right? I mean, you're doing it because you want something in return.
Right.
So that's, I mean, and that was the other thing, you know, they have said, how much weight does the pacemaker data carry in this case? And I believe it carries a lot. And like you said, what investigative paths remain open right now? And I really think, you know, getting drones out there, searching locally. I don't think it's possible they took her far. I don't think that it's a situation where, they drove her to California, they drove her to Nevada, they drove her 8 hours. I just don't think it's possible because she would have to have been seen. She got to eat. She got to shit. I mean, what do? You can't take her. She's not going to last in a car ride. You're going to have to pull over every 5 minutes. And I feel I rarely have empathy, but I do, because this is a real family, a vulnerable, just the most vulnerable of people that got taken in our society.
Yes, which makes it so,
That's what makes
more
me
terrible.
so dismissive. Yeah, you're going after the most vulnerable people you can. Someone in their 80s, a senior citizen, someone's. It just makes me sick. I mean, I've seen. I thought of people who have survived the Holocaust. And they come here and they live and then they get hit by a drunk driver or something. Like, they survived the Holocaust.
I saw that. I saw someone that happened to recently, right?
Yeah. It's like, are you kidding me?
Right. They survived all that.
Survivor? Yeah. You made it through Auschwitz and you couldn't get through the city. You had to get clipped by a drunk driver. So it's very sad, and I just feel like the updates now are total speculation. There's been no press conferences announced, nothing, zero verified updates, and that is what is most concerning.
Right.
But again, I just go back to, okay, you're taking an 84-year-old woman. What? There's no way in my mind it could have been a burglary gone wrong, because what is she going to have that you're going to steal from her house? Like what are you going after? Like, you think she's got a safe of like millions of dollars? Like, that was my thing. It clearly was.
Well, they want Savannah Guthrie. It's that's what made me think maybe it was like.
Well, I agree with that. Yeah, I agree with punish Savannah Guthrie. Sure, I agree with that. But okay, if you're just kidnapping her to murder her, that's one thing. If it's a true abduction with a ransom, that's another. I mean, either, in my opinion, my speculation, we're going to find out either within, once the investigation's over, either in like 3 days, she was killed. She was dead already. And, they didn't get the ransom. They didn't have a coordinated effort to communicate with the family, and they killed her. That's my belief. I don't know how, where you would house an 84-year-old woman who can't get around, and you're basically going to need, whoever did this would have to be a nurse around the clock to take care of her. And do you think kidnappers are going to go through that? And for what? For money they're not getting? For if they were ransom demands that just got passed, the timeline got passed for it?
Right.
It's just sickening to me. Because if it was somebody younger, I'd have more hope. But when you have somebody of that age and somebody with those needs, I just don't think it's possible to house them and take care of them. It's hard enough to take care of an 84-year-old anyway. Like, you think kidnappers are going to go out of their way to make sure she's comfortable?
So, what is the conclusion you think on this case?
I think it's going to be bad. I think it's bad.
They found blood, a little bit of blood, and
yep. I think that if they had a plan for the kidnapping, something went wrong along the way. Either she was taking too long to fucking get in the car to go with them or whatever, and shit went sideways. I don't think that it's a situation.
Do you think they knew who she was? Do you think?
Of course, it was targeted. It had to have been targeted. I don't think they randomly just said, "Okay, that house looks nice. Let's go in there." They knew the security cameras. They disabled them. They clearly cased her. That's why the FBI has been going back a month looking at traffic cams and everything to try to, because there's not much in that area. They're going through traffic cams and license plate recognition, facial rec, to try to see if they can find something that is repetitive that can show that someone was watching or casing the house to see her schedule. I hate being negative, but I don't see this ending well, sadly. I mean, do you think that, do you honestly believe it's day 13 and she's alive? Do you think that could be possible? I mean, I know anything's possible, but do you think that sophisticated kidnappers, they obviously targeted her? There was a motive for doing this. Do you think that she's alive?
I don't think she's alive.
Yeah, I sadly don't either. I don't think there's any way that she could be, unless they have a registered nurse that's taking care of her, that's housing her, wherever they are. But do you agree with me that they could not have gone far with her? They had to have been in place.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been very difficult,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know where you would go with her.
Yeah.
And that's why I think she's, I don't know. I mean, I hate to think it, but
I hate to think it too, but I honestly, I don't, I can't see past a couple days whenever this comes to a conclusion. And if they find her dead, it'll come out that, the time of death was a couple days after the kidnapping. I don't think it's a situation where it went 9 or 10 days, because now there's nothing. I mean, there's just been stupid notes to the media outlets. If this was serious and a coordinated kidnapping effort, they would be communicating with law enforcement or the family to get the ransom. And they haven't done it. So to me, that changes the narrative of an abduction. I don't necessarily believe it to be an abduction. I think that some assholes got involved and just decided to, send notes to the media outlets making these ransom demands, hoping to get a payday, to be
Right.
honest. I think they took advantage of the situation and just tried to use it to get a payday. So it's a horrible, horrible situation.
What do
And
people think here? Whenever you, oh yeah, no,
someone's thought she was in Mexico. I mean, I don't think she's in Mexico.
yeah,
I don't think there's any way they traveled more. The radius would be very, very small, in my opinion. So I just, regardless of the outcome, I just hope that they have one in the next few days. It's torture to the family. Regardless of what you think of the family, nobody deserves to go through this. And I just want it to be resolved one way or the other.
I agree with you.
I don't want it to be one of those, unknowns for forever.
Right.
So I guess, we'll keep
Not a lot to it too. That's the hard part about, like, in some of these bloodlines, we have a lot more information. We don't have that much information.
No, I mean, we tried to do a current event. We tried to do this because it's been in the news. We've given all the verifiable information, and it's the same thing with law enforcement. I mean, I obviously they are definitely withholding some things because it's an ongoing investigation. But
what do you think you're withholding?
Maybe evidence found at the house, maybe some forensics, maybe fingerprints, maybe something like that. I know that they found gloves in the bushes and they were searching the bushes. Maybe they found more blood. I just think maybe they have some other clues, obviously, that they can't release to the public to maintain the integrity of the investigation. I mean, it took a lot for them to release the footage to show the person, his build and what he looked like. That didn't come out right away because they were protecting it. But it as it gets more dire and the sense of urgency continues to escalate, they're going to release more and more and hope something pays off. I mean, they upped the money, the reward money to $100,000.
Right.
And hopes anyone with information. I'm surprised that the family hasn't thrown in $1 million and said that we'll give him $1 million for any information. They've kind of kept their distance. One of the sisters' behaviors was odd. One of the brother-in-law's behaviors was a little off. But you never know how they're going to act under duress like this.
Right.
But by the time, I didn't even tell you. How about this? I got messaged on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
By somebody, a representative from a Republican who's running for governor in Maine.
Okay.
Wants to come on Rebel Republic.
Okay.
Loves the show, wants to come on Rebel Republic. They messaged me.
Did you look him up?
Yes. The person's legit. The profile seems legit. It doesn't seem fake.
Right.
So I was going to schedule them as soon as she is able to. I tried to act like, we got a pretty packed schedule and we'll see when we can fit you in.
Oh, we do. We do have a tax schedule.
But no, I mean, isn't that I thought that was cool as shit. Like
That is cool.
this
Rebel is
this little fucking show that happened out by pure accident because Ernie heard you guys on a political rant, wanted to turn it into a show. And we've had Jimmy Fallon on. We've had Joe Griffo on. We had the Afghan evac guy on.
well,
now,
you know, exactly. Well, I mean, that's how it starts, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but this is next level. I mean, to have an actual
Candidate, yeah.
a mayoral candidate in Maine. That
They probably heard us talk about the Somali thing in Maine. Remember we talked about it?
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think of that. I did not even think of that. Hold on, what was that? I had the message. Oh, okay, here it is. Amy Raz-Bezan, Bobby Charles, Maine governor, conservative Republican campaign advisor on LinkedIn. Would you like to have conservative Republican candidate for Maine governor Bobby Charles on your podcast? Let me know.
Bobby Charles.
You ever heard of him?
No.
No. Okay.
Are you excited?
I'm just. It just amazes me that, you know, the reach that this has turned into. You know, we're going to get to go to the governor's office or whatever in Albany when you're available and do a show there. And we got fucking candidates from Maine who want to come on. I mean, come on. I got the guy Turning Point. I mean, that's some big shit.
Oh, Turning Point's come on?
Yeah. I reached out to Turning Point.
What'd they say?
A while ago. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. We are scheduling them, I believe, the end of the month. I don't know who they're giving us. I don't know if I should ask for Erica, but I didn't ask. I just thought it was cool. They responded and were cool. So
that's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Dude, it's becoming a show, dude. Now we need.
It is a show. I mean, it's really become you know, people don't get conservative talk shows that are, like I say, independent. You know, they get syndicated stuff. Mm-hmm. There's very few independent conservative talk shows. And especially podcasts, and especially assholes like us. So I think the being able to have some free reign makes a difference.
Oh, so I agree with you completely.
But yeah, I will follow. I will get a date set with her, and that will be awesome. And we'll go from there. But we unfortunately feel horrible about the situation with Nancy Guthrie. We obviously hope this ends positively.
It's sad.
Hanson called me. Huh.
Oh yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I just hope it. I hope it just gets resolved soon. It's not fair to the family for it to go on for another week. I mean, it's just wrong. So, does your kid have any games this weekend?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he does.
Got hoops.
Both days?
No, then we got a flag. Then we have a workout, and then we have 7-on-7 starts our practices.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Wow. So you have basketball and then flag starting Saturday.
Not flag.
7-on-7.
Yeah.
Where do you practice?
We have a turf field to practice at.
But it's indoors, correct?
No.
Oh, you go outside.
Yeah, I don't go indoors. I'm not paying for that. That's insane.
Okay. That's like, okay. All right. That makes sense.
No, they try to crush you. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, Frank and I were talking about it because we don't have a 7-on-7 team, and one of the parents was asking us about it. We should definitely do it, but Frank, is always pissing my Cheerios.
Well, that's I guess that's part of the fun, right?
Of course. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
I guess he's well,
Listen, I was right about the doggy. I was right about the doggy daycare. Doesn't listen to me.
Oh, doggy daycare is 100%.
It's one of the top businesses.
One franchise.
Yeah.
In the country.
And laundromats are up there, as I learned.
Yeah. Well, they're not franchises often, but
no, they're not. No. I wouldn't franchise it. Our doggy daycare. It would be my doggy daycare. It would be Cully's doggy daycare. And Frank doesn't think that I could clean up the poop and pee, and he doesn't want that in his space. But I just think you got to take a chance sometimes on people. You got to believe in them.
Would Frank be your funder?
I would go half. I would go in it half with him.
So what do you say about that?
Fuck you.
Yeah, he just thinks you're crazy.
No, he doesn't want pee. He doesn't want dogs pissing and shitting inside the place because I told him that's what they do at the other places.
Well, you should just get a place that you would do it at.
I can't afford to get a place, but I could. If he had one, I would go in on it with him and pay rent and expenses. I can't afford to do everything involved, but I think it would take off. But he knows better than me. What are you gonna do?
I know it's a difficult deal.
Yeah, difficult deal.
Tough sledding for you, my friend. Tough sledding.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
It's
great sledding. I love sledding. I love sledding. Yeah, that's great. It's all good. It's all good.
Who doesn't love sledding?
But this has been another banner Bloodlines and Betrayal. We say our prayers. We hope for a positive outcome, but we really just hope for an outcome in the next week or so. So for Coach Schumann, I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them back at life. And I'm Steve Cully, and I'm running for Congress.
Oh, yeah,